All right, let's talk about point-slope form. Here's the point-slope form of a line, and here it is over here on the right. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And we use this when they give us a point and a slope. And if you look at the problem on the left, find the equation of a line with the slope of 4. They're giving us the slope, and it passes through the point 2, 2. They're giving us a point. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in these three numbers. I know that the slope is m, and it's going to go right here. And the point is x1, y1. So the x1 will go right here, and the y1 will go right here. Okay, let's work it out. Let's see it done. So I'm going to start with my point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I'm going to plug in. I know I'm going to plug in for y1. I'm going to plug in for x, and I'm going to plug in for x1. Okay, I always use blank parentheses before I plug in. Now my y1 is 2. Okay, this was my y1. This was my x1. My m is 4. And my x1 is 2. Okay, this is not the greatest problem because you see that your x1 and y1 are the same thing. But I'm telling you that the x1 goes here and the y1 goes here. Okay, let's see what we have now. We have y minus 2 equals 4 times x minus 2. Now they're going to ask you to give this answer two different ways. They're going to ask you for slope-intercept form, and they're also going to ask you for something called standard form. Let me remind you that slope-intercept form is where your y is by itself, y equals mx plus b. And standard form is where you have your x terms first, your y terms second, and your constant is on the other side of the equal sign. Okay, another thing to know about standard form is that a, b, and c are not going to be fractions. Some math people want to make sure that a is also positive, but I don't think you're going to have to worry about that for this class. So knowing that, I go back to my equation. I know that I'm going to need to distribute this 4 either way. I'll need to distribute the 4 no matter which way I give it to them. It's going to be 4x minus 8. And now slope-intercept form seems to be easier to do right now. To get my y by itself, I can add 2 to both sides, and then I should have my slope-intercept form. Negative 2 plus 2 is gone. So y equals 4x plus 8, minus 8 plus 2 is minus 6. That's my slope-intercept form. Y equals 4x minus 6. Okay? Noting that your slope is 4, right, which is what they started you with. Now, to put this in standard form, I need this x term, this 4x, it's got to be back over here on the other side. So y equals 4x minus 6. Let me start with that. I'm going to need to subtract 4x from both sides. On the left-hand side, these are not like terms. Y minus 4x. So I'm going to write it as negative 4x plus y equals, and on the right-hand side, I'm going to get just negative 6. Okay, so this is good enough for standard form. Sometimes they don't want a negative out in front. You'd multiply everything through by negative 1, which changes all the signs. This would be a positive 4x minus y equals a positive 6. Okay, but for this problem, they're asking for a standard form, and it's multiple choice. So I can see that my answer is negative 4x plus y equals negative 6.